Welcome to Across the Desk and our new series in partnership with Maddie Dever, the Autistic Rambler. Maddie is a non-binary autistic advocate engaged in political advocacy, a parent of 5, and a very funny person. I think we're going to have a lot to talk about, and we look forward to you joining the conversation. Now let's get to rambling. Oh dear.
Welcome to another episode of the non-podcast podcast of Across the Desk, which is the Autistic Rambler with me, Maddie, and you, Elizabeth, and we're going to have a gay old time.
Well, you'll have a gay old time.
Yeah.
I have a little less excitement in my life. Thank you. That was beautiful. You should do that. Maybe we'll switch it and you do the intro because that was cool. So we're sort of, this could be weird, folks, but so Maddie and I both enjoy a cup of coffee and we both use it for similar reasons, right? So this actually might turn into a something. So I use it because I have ADD and I'm not medicated and it provides focus for me, right? So because stimulants work on the brain of people with ADD differently than they do with people without ADD.
Yep.
So if you are somebody who's been told you have ADD, but you try Concerta or some other stimulant-based medication to help you with that, and it sends you all wackadoodle and whatever, then that is not, something else is going on. Like if a stimulant has that impact on an ADD brain, then there's a problem. So we started talking about coffee, which we both have an appreciation for. I have to watch the coffee. I can only do half coffee, half decaf. And then Maddie made a really valid point. He's like,
yeah,
it's not a good way to spoil water.
Yeah, exactly. It's hot water with spoiled beans.
Right. So then I started to share a quick story. So I have a lot of those. So back in high school, which is, I'm at level 53 in life. So high school was a few levels ago. But I have this, isn't it weird how our memory works? Maybe that's our topic for today is memory. So I have portions of my life that I don't remember a lot of at all for a variety of reasons. But then some really weird memories like Shazam. So I remember distinctly going over to my friend Tammy's house. Shout out to Tammy Beatty. And she offers to make me a tea. Now, what you need to know for the context of this story is that I'm a first-generation Canadian. My parents are from the UK. And my dad was a tea taster for Salada. So tea is like running, if there's another circulatory system that runs side by side in my body, it's running with tea. and my parents had very specific ways of how they made tea and how they, how strong it was and whatever.
Yeah. And they rarely spilled the tea.
Oh no, my mama spilled the tea. My mama spilled the tea. So I go to Tammy's house. She's like, would like a cup of tea? Sure. I think that's probably one of the few times a friend in my late teens, early 20s ever offered to make me a cup of tea. So she boils the water. Great. Pours the hot water in the cup. Fantastic. And then dips the bag in and takes the bag out.
Oh God, that's not tea.
I said, what the sweet Lord did you just do?
Oh my oh my God.
I made you a cup of tea. I'm like, what you made me was a cup of weird looking pea water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. See, like there's an argument to be made whether having the bag in first and pouring the water is the proper way, or pouring the water and then leaving the tea bag in. Both those require leaving the tea bag in the water.
They require the tea bag to touch the water for more than a quick goody grab. Is what they require. And so like this tea bag,
if you extrapolate that to other things she didn't like, that would be it would leave us.
I can't comment. I don't back for that thing, but that tea bag and that hot water barely got to first base. I was like, you need to let them consummate that relationship because that's not tea.
Nope.
That's just weird, hot, brown looking stuff.
Yeah.
So I taught her how to make a cup of tea. My friend Noreen, she leaves the bag in all day. Now, that's next level.
Oh, okay. That's capital T.
Yeah, it's capital T. I can't even.
That
I can't even
that
get
can
over
burn off. That can either put hair on or rip hair
Oh,
off.
some bitch. Yeah, you got it. Right. So, interestingly, I think we could use this for. I think. Ooh, here. No, seriously.
There's no topic that we can't relate the threads of our life, because we're talking about things bring about experiences.
Yep.
Is the whole purpose of what we're doing here.
Well, so here's an interesting. Okay, so here's my thought: is
Uh-huh.
coping mechanisms.
Yeah.
So, a few years ago, I had a friend of mine reach out, and they're a little bit older than I am. And for a variety of reasons, they've gone on in life to have 6 kids. And good on them. I would be medicated and like dribbling in a corner, but so that's what I'm saying. So Maddie's pointing at their which is not very colorful today. I got to know what's going on.
What?
Well, it's not. Your mug doesn't have the Shazam factor that I would expect.
Yeah, I know. I'm okay.
You're packing.
Yeah,
okay.
We're packing. We have very little things, and this is one of the ones that I was able to find. Yeah,
and keep it.
It's yeah. Life is like
life
that.
is packing. So we end up chatting. She's pregnant a little bit later in life, so you have to be doubly cautious, and is looking for alternatives to coffee, because coffee and pregnancy don't tend to go together very well, right? You don't want to introduce stimulants to a growing fetus. And while there's some health benefits that have been recorded for coffee, it's more typically what goes into the coffee. And they were, I think, gestational diabetes, so they had to really watch, sugar and this and that. Anyway, so I asked her a question, and this is where we get into coping and comforting techniques. And I said, is it the coffee that you need to preserve, or is it the act of making the coffee for yourself that's important? And that opened up a really interesting conversation, because if you enjoy a hot beverage, there is a routine around that. There is time required to invest in heating the water, picking which beverage you're going to have. And it's a little investment, to me anyway, in your self-care and your coping, right? It's a pause.
Yeah.
So look, I start every morning with green tea. I don't touch coffee until after 10 o'clock. And yes, I know green tea has caffeine, but it's taken up by the body differently because of the vehicle involved. So don't touch coffee until after. And that conversation with my friend has stuck with me. Do we ever stop and think about the routines that we have and how they help us cope, or how they give us comfort, or whatever that looks at,
Yeah. For me, the different drinks evoke different memories or satisfy different needs.
True.
Right. And when I okay, so I am a 6th, 7th, or 8th generation Canadian, born and raised in Canada.
Yep.
However, there's 2 offshoot. There's my one side of my one grandfather is French Canadian, and my grandmother came from family that was raised British in Canada, but raised British. Then on the other side, I have an Irish Canadian who, again, 7th or 8th generation, but still very Irish, and a German grandmother who was raised British in Canada. So tea
seems rather culturally confusing. The German British.
I hate those things where do you come from? Canada. Like at some point, if you got 300 years of being in a place,
yeah,
yes, ancestrally we're all from all over the place, but at some point, where does the place you become a place that you can be from?
So here's what I will say. True, but
yeah.
So there's a but and an and. So
I'm all Canuck.
I am not fully Canuck. I don't think I will ever be fully Canuck. I do worry, because I get a lot of comfort out of the fact that I have a huge family in the UK.
Mm.
And I really love the fact that my mom was the second eldest of 5. My dad was the second of 4. I can't even tell you how many cousins I have. And I'm still very fortunate that I have, 2 uncles on my dad's side. I still have all of my mom's sisters and her younger brother on her side. My mom was the first one to pass away. My dad was the first one to pass away on his side. I mean, way to set a trend, mom and dad. So for me, it's very comforting to connect to my family history. And it's very comforting to know, I actually just discovered, so weird. So talk about comfort. My full name is Elizabeth Ann Isabella. It's a bit of a mouthful. Try being 6 and squawking that one out in class. It's not cool.
You're a Lizbeth and a Betty all at once.
My grandma. Okay. So here we go. So my dad's mom was Elizabeth Nesbitt Barris.
Okay.
Never knew her middle names. She went by Betty. So when I call you Betty, that's an important name to me. Okay. Because my grandma was one of my favorite people on the planet.
Yeah.
She died when I was 10. And there's a whole lot of stuff there. So I had some family documents. That's a whole nother conversation. And one of them was my grandma's birth certificate. I have always been told that I was named Elizabeth, 1 for the Queen.
Yeah.
And my birth announcement says Her Majesty has arrived. So my mom was not, I have it right here. She was not kidding around. And my grandma. Then my mom's older sister is Anne. And then my other grandmother, my mom's mom, was Isabella, and they called her Belle. Turns out my grandma on my dad's mom was Elizabeth Ann. I was like, how many more? And then people, for comfort and routine and memory and everything, that connection going back generations in the family provides me a lot of comfort.
Yeah.
So we named my son Thomas after my mom's dad. On my dad's side of the family, the first name of the father became the second name of the son. So my grandfather was John Fennick. My father was David John. My brother was Christopher David. My parents had split. My mom wanted nothing to do with my dad's name being in my son's name at all. Like, that was a huge thing for her.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I got to live with you for quite a while. I am not rocking that boat too hard. So my son is Thomas Michael. My husband's name is Michael. So we honored that tradition by the first name of the father becoming the second name of the son.
Okay.
Turns out, not only was my grandfather Thomas, my great-grandfather on the Barris side is also Thomas, who married a Mary, which was my mom's name.
We have a family name that's been passed on. So my youngest is Catherine.
Yes.
My sister's middle name is Catherine. My mother's middle name is Catherine. My grandmother's middle name is Catherine. Her mother's middle name was Catherine. Her grandmother's first name was Catherine.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
That
now we spelled our daughter's name more Gaelic, K-T-H-R-Y-N, as opposed to K-H-T-E-R-I-N-E. But the name has been passed on. My son has the name of his grandfather on his mom's side, and the middle name of my grandfather. So Ashley and Claude, Ashley, Joshua, and Claude. So like we've embedded names throughout our in different places. We've seen that, but it's just I very much love my family history, but it's in Canada. Even though where we originally
love coffee more.
It's not. It's like it. Like my great grandfather was the first Chief Justice of Manitoba. He was the founding father. He was Louis Riel's lawyer.
How'd that go?
They were great friends until Louis Riel he felt went too far, and but he's the one that made sure that Métis had rights.
That's very cool.
Yeah. but and we go back 3 or 4 more generations of lawyers in Quebec. It's just so like I love looking at my family history. But it is. I get at what point.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. For my family, my Uncle Alan was the first one to come to Canada, and then my dad and my mom came. So that's the only family I have in Canada, aside from my brother who lives in BC. So for me, being somebody who is so very family focused, and we don't really have a relationship. We have a weird relationship on my husband's side. He's an only child, but his dad was the youngest of 9.
How does that work? Only child?
Don't even get me started on that. That requires something to go in the coffee before we, and something.
Coffee is done. It's over.
Right. So having my family so far away, right? So part of this comes down to connection and grounding, right? And a lot of anxiety is created through that lack of connection, that lack of groundedness, and maybe, either an over-reliance on routine, or there's been no effort made to create a routine, which for me would make me crack-a-lackin'. Like if I didn't have a routine in the morning or a routine around certain things, and I'm not saying like OCD level.
Oh yeah.
But that, right? So
yeah, it's why I find summers very difficult, because there's not as much structure. We've talked about that in the past. Structure, having a little bit of structure makes a lot of other things happen. When you don't have any structure, like I think some people need to have a very and I think especially as they're younger, need to have a very externally mandated structure, so that you can then learn how to flex that structure. But
maybe lean into it as well. Like if you're in a struggle bus, right? Here's what I would ask. Right. So the comfort thing. So the funny way this started out was that Maddy requires a number of sips of coffee to focus before we, and I
need
know
to lubricate the brain.
I absolutely know when the caffeine is in, when the caffeine's loading, and when the caffeine has hit the brain pan.
Yippers.
And so it was hysterical when we first got it, because you were like,
which
I love. No, I love
that. I've been up for a while. I just got out. I was on a Zoom call for something that I need to be part of.
Yeah.
But it can be quite dry. And so it was intense for me to listen and follow. There wasn't things for me to offer a lot of commentary on, which is what I usually do.
Yeah.
But it was very much
outlet.
learning, and knowing that, okay, once I have the materials that they're talking about to look in front of me, then it'll all click in, and then I can offer my suggestions. So it's like I didn't have coffee before that, because I had a phone call. I had a phone call before that for the previous half, because normally I'd set my thing so okay, I'm gonna get my coffee 10 minutes before the meeting. I got a call 20 minutes before the meeting that lasted right to the meeting, and it's so like, okay, but I have water. Yahoo!
But right there, right? So you have created a routine around how you manage certain things.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about the importance routine of before, but what I don't think we talked about before was identifying those comfort mechanisms that may have become almost automated for us, right? Like I'm pretty adventurous in the food department, but breakfast is a bit of a bugaboo for me because I don't like eggs. And I know. I mean, I do, but they have to be smothered in hollandaise, or they have to be
I hate hollandaise.
But I love it. Or it's just the yolk, but that's just,
See, if I have hollandaise, then I have to go on another vacation.
Boom. So it's easier for me in the morning. I have my green tea. I have a very specific layout for my cereal because it incorporates things that I need to take in every day. Then I watch some kind of home improvement or travel show or whatever, sip my green tea, and that grounds me for the day. Right? So don't get me wrong. I can get up and dash out the door when required. But man, that I look for that comfort for the rest of the day.
everybody is so freaking different, because everything you mentioned in your preparation would drive me absolutely crazy. I can't stand watching TV while eating. Very, unless it's something that it's definitely interacting with, like news, maybe. But I much prefer
No, who
to.
wants the news first thing? That's
Yeah, I know, but I need to read the news on my phone,
yeah.
or I need to have conversation with somebody. And people should know that they should wait to have conversation with me until after I've started my coffee. Yes, yes, I love you more than coffee, but not before coffee.
Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my
Like
husband
green tea.
right now,
Green tea. Oh,
I love green
I
tea.
dislike green tea, and I dislike hollandaise, and I love eggs. But you know what? Everybody's different. But
We're
it's
not married yet. I'm just
I
saying.
know.
Like
Just
you're
like
my podcast husband, but
yes. The but what we're doing is the same thing with different things, right?
yes,
Like
yes.
in order for me to center the days that I'm all off skitterish are the days where I don't have the breakfast routine. I like to have at a minimum coffee, water, and cereal, preferably coffee, water, and eggs with something,
Yeah.
And then I feel like
We've had
sometimes
breakfast
I'll
together.
have a
You're
quick
really
thing of
good at
cereal,
a
and
healthy
then
breakfast.
after whatever I do in the morning, I will have a brunch with eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I find, like, when I drink coffee, it reminds me of all of the times I've had coffee with my mom. Now
Routine and comfort. Comfort seeds the comfort.
exactly. Like I sometimes, like, if I'm having an issue with my stomach throat, and I'm not supposed to drink coffee, I will make it and sniff it and just hold it there by my nose.
You know I'm going to send you scratch and sniff coffee Snickers, right?
I love scratch and sniff. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh,
In my
I'm
early
on that.
childhood, I could smell. Then around 8 or 9, I lost my sense of smell for 30 some years. But I love the scratch and sniffs stickers. Oh my gosh.
Find your crap.
Collecting
Okay.
albums and
I'm on your side. I had sticker albums briefly, but I think I did it more because everybody else was doing it and it was something you were supposed to do.
It was the only way I can, like,
I never understood the value of it. But
I connected with girls. It was be able to, like, to be part of their group because we like doing these things. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Sorry. I had a moment. It looks like I'm having a stroke, but I am
No,
not.
it looks like you're a moose that's trying to take its antlers off.
Okay. So I think this is okay. I knew there was a reason for this. So sometimes we're never quite sure, but this is going to be a good one because what I think people forget, what I think employers forget, what I think our friends forget, what I think our colleagues forget is that we all have something that gives us comfort. There's always, there's probably always, there is a preface for why we do certain things in the day. Whether it is a subconscious attachment to the fact that you enjoyed having coffee with your mom, right? I miss my tea right now because I can't have dairy. Plus cow's milk now makes me physically feel ill. And oat milk does something weird to tea. So I have to find a way because that tea connects me to my family and to my mom. But what I wonder is employers in particular probably don't understand the impact of disrupting, right? Of not giving enough value.
Yeah.
That which gives employees comfort, right? So, and I don't mean like having one of those, what is that ugly thing you put your arms in and it's like a blanket with arms? What the hell is that? It's called a Snuggie or something? Snuggly. Okay. I'm not suggesting you should have a Snuggie at your desk because that's inappropriate, but I keep a pair of slippers, for an example, at the office.
Yeah.
And if my feet are freezing and, whatever, like I own the company, so nobody's.
My stuffed animals, I have many rabbits, many bunnies. At each one of them feels different and evokes a different feeling and a different memories. And I I mean, my two teen girls carry one or two or three of their stuffies with them wherever they go still, and it's for one of them, it's the way they can talk, because like if they get overwhelmed, at least you can talk to the stuffies. The other one really needs a connection, and I we are sensory creatures, and I
All of
think that we don't understand that enough, and I don't think it's respected enough, and especially for autistics, because I think we experience sensory experiences in a heightened or lessened fact, and so we don't conceive of all of the different. Like I think most people
Yep.
think of seeing and hearing and tasting. They forget about the smelling, and they forget about touch, as well as the other three.
what comfort that brings on what level. I can walk into so for me, smell is a huge one for me.
Yeah.
Right. So in England, the last time I went to England I was at level 21, right? So that's 30 levels ago, 32 levels ago. And it was the year after my dad died, and I was going back to see my family. And so if you went into my grandparents' home, as you walked through, you have we've talked about this before, the front kitchen, the middle kitchen, and the back kitchen. And then in the middle kitchen was where the cooker and the sink and the whatever. So they used a product called Fairy Dish Liquid, right? Smells I don't know how they do it, but it smells very different from it's a very distinctive, it's pleasant for me.
Okay.
Right. So a number of years ago, I walked into my first Canadian-based British shop called Across the Pond. Nothing to do with the name of the thing, but anyway. Well, probably, yeah.
Subconsciously.
So I walk in, and what's the first thing I spy but Fairy Dish Liquid? Don't I promptly break out into tears?
Oh, God, yeah.
Over freaking dish soap. Because the sense of comfort and the memory that came flooding back of the last time I was at my grandpa's house, and how much I enjoyed that trip, and how much I miss my family. I haven't seen some of my family in 30 years. So I think I go to the British shop to feel closer to them, and I share on Facebook as a way to connect with them. And, I look at pictures, and I have tea, and I have, okay, so I have this. This is a Tunnocks dark chocolate coated caramel wafer biscuit. Okay. That's a UK. So
UK thing.
My mom loved Tunnocks tea cakes and all those kinds of things. And I think we undervalue finding the things that give us comfort, protecting those things that give us comfort. And like you had mentioned, one of your daughters you've gone fuzzy. One of your daughters uses the stuffed animals as a way to ground and communicate and connect.
Yeah.
And what is wrong with that? Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
But society turns it into something.
Yeah.
And then that person loses their comfort thing.
Like it's a way. I think humans have this unfortunate need to try to exert some control in their lives. And if they can't do it with their own, they'll do it with others. And
yes.
I think because we're trained to not appreciate difference. So when we see difference, we instinctively try to snuff it out. Now, this isn't something that I do, but I'm being general as humans, because difference. This is the autistic struggle. We're different. We're visibly or tangibly different than the majority of the population. The way we think, the way we do, the way we react, the way we respond to stimulus around us.
The way you experience the world is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our again, and a lot of it is it's sensory and it's communication style, right? We see and experience the world in a different way. We're going to, I joke all the time. It's like, I was born autistic. I'll die autistic. I walk autistically. I think autistically. I bump into walls autistically. I love things autistically. It's different than people who are not autistic. And again, Every autistic has a different way of doing it, but there are enough similarities to to make a bit of a generalization here.
I think the one thing that came out for me is there's a higher than average need for some kind of comfort mechanism.
Yeah.
Right. Whether it is, an inordinate attachment to, I don't know, stuffed animals. Whether it's an inordinate attachment to a certain color or a certain texture, or likewise an aversion to certain things. Right?
Absolutely.
Clothing.
My older son has an aversion to certain animation styles. He cannot handle Simpsons. He cannot even handle you talking about Simpsons. Oh, I agree, but it's visceral.
Oh well, mine's not visceral.
He loves Japanese anime, right?
Yeah.
So it's not animated stuff that's the issue. It's the style, and I think also a bit like the dialogue, And so it's like we have an overly stronger reaction or lack of reaction to things than I think the broader population.
Well, so what I wonder about that is and so my thought is the need for comfort items or whatever that looks like. So whether it's coffee, whether it's, sniffing stickers, like whatever it is, like Sheldon needs his spot, right?
Yep.
And I'm on board with that. And this day and age where information's coming at us at a mile a second, where there's a ton of uncertainty created by crazy ass presidents and ineffective politicians and climate change, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now.
Yep.
Which I think directly correlates to the higher addiction rates and higher, people having sort of a hedonistic approach to comfort. And they're like, well, the world's going to end anyway. Okay, folks, It's not going to end tomorrow. So, careful with your Coke habit. And that's Coca-Cola or the snorty type.
Doesn't matter which Coke, don't take too much.
Both of them are not awesome for you in the long run. But then comfort or coping is positioned as, well, you need to exercise more, or you need to meditate, or you need to, I don't know, get on board with whatever latest guru is spouting some kind of shit. Maybe it is just as simple as having a teddy bear that you love.
Yeah.
I still have. So if we go back to my grandma, I'm her namesake. I remember the last time I saw her in person, I was 10 years old. She died about 6 months later, and we didn't know. And I went into the room that I stayed in at their house, which used to be my Uncle Derek and my Uncle Richard's room. And there was a doll on the bed. And on that doll was laying against the pillow. And I was level 10 at the time. I'm now level 53. This is one of those core memories. And on the note on the doll was, this is for the little girl staying in this room. Oh. And I literally stood there looking around. I wasn't a wise level 10. And I was like, me. And my grandma came in the room, and I had picked up the doll because I'm like, it's got to be for me. Like, I don't know, there's nobody else. Like, because I had a cousin Caroline who stayed in the area, right? And I remember looking at my grandma and saying, like, is this for me? And she looked down at me with the loveliest smile, and she said, is there any other little girls staying in this room?
Only grandmas can say things like this.
I still have that doll.
Oh, yeah.
And when I had a house fire, when I was 16, my house went up in smoke on Christmas Day. And we didn't have the opportunity. We weren't allowed to save much because my dad refused to have anything in the house that smelled like smoke. And you can bet your bottom ding-dongs I stood my ground on that doll. And to this day, 43 levels later, I pick her up and I give her a squadge.
Yeah.
And I remember my grandma.
Oh.
She had that doll made for me. And it has a special heart, like Raggedy. It's a Raggedy Ann doll, and they always have a heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
My grandmother had one for both my sister and I
Yeah, my mom had them made for my daughter. So my daughter now has her own Raggedy Ann doll with a baby Raggedy Ann with that. And I talk to her, and we have and she's an odd looking doll. I have to be honest with you, because her hair looks like she's been electrocuted. She doesn't have like the nice loopy hair. She has the fire engine orange hair. And I've lost her drawers. I feel kind of bad. She's walking around without her drawers on. Her undergarment. And I just give her a squadge and think of my grandma. A squadge is a hug, by the way.
We're getting a UK education here right now. This is good.
I have a lot of UK isms that because of my parents, right? So when you watch these UK shows and they're focused to the US and they have subtitles, I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I'm like, what? There's nothing hard to understand here. But then I forget how unique some of the, I'll say to somebody, go put that in the bin. And they're looking for a bin. And what I mean is the garbage bin.
Oh, yeah. That's what
Yeah. But they don't, the bin isn't used a lot, right? Or I'll be,
Well, the bin can be either two things to me. It's garbage or recycling. And it's like, but context of what it is tells you what goes in.
There's other things, right? So, I mean, somebody will say something and I'll be like, hey, aren't you a clever clogs? And my mom will pop out at the weirdest moments in my voice. It's a bit bizarro some days. But I love that. And I hear my kids doing that.
Yeah.
And some of the phrases, like nignog is like, don't be a nignog. Which is basically a polite way of saying stop being an arsehole. But I hear those Nana-isms, those UK-isms, because what gives me comfort is that I have made effort in introducing my kids to their heritage. And they had my mom long enough that she made an impact.
Yeah.
And they remember those pieces. And it gives them comfort because they miss my mom dreadfully as well. So when we look at comfort mechanisms, right? So we started on coffee. I suggest to folks, maybe it's not about what's in the cup.
Yeah.
But about the time you took to do something for yourself. Whether it's stopping at Starbucks, whether it's making it yourself, whether it's, investing in a better bean, whether you have a stuffed dolly or a stuffed rabbit that makes you smile, whether you have a favorite sweater or, I just got a new necklace. I haven't showed it to you yet, but I think you'll like it. So my friend Monica, okay, I just had an idea, but we have to talk about it after.
Okay.
So my friend Monica owns Glam Jewels, and she makes beautiful jewelry. And I'm not a big jewelry person, which is a bit bizarre to say in the same sentence. But every piece of Glam Jewels jewelry that I have, there's about 15, has a memory. I either bought, I know there's one piece in particular, and my first business was struggling, but I really wanted something. And an opportunity came up, and it was like $15. And what I remember is getting through that tough time with that piece of jewelry. I hooked Monica up with a keynote speaking gig, and she made me the most gorgeous necklace. And every time I look at it or wear it, I have a piece that looks like Wonder Woman. And every time I wear it, I remember buying it, and I remember it's cool. It's like you said at the beginning, when you certain stuffed animals or certain whatever, that coffee gives you comfort because of your mom.
Yeah. Tea brings me back to both grandmothers. Root beer floats, my grandmother on my mom's side. Oh my gosh, the first time I had that. But as you're talking, the thing that I think evokes most memories in me and comfort and triggering emotions that I need to go through is music. I
Lord help me.
every time I hear a song, I can the songs that trigger the biggest emotions, I can remember exactly where I was when I heard that and the feelings that I had around that, and it opens up the memories around that time. And like I remember, tell her about it. That's every morning waking up
Billy Joel?
to get every morning Billy Joel getting ready for school in the morning when I was in elementary school. Like that's I know it in other contexts, but that's the one where it brings me back to. Like there's just songs I remember, the houses I lived in and the parent I was with when those songs that came out. 'Cause I like listening to albums, and so I can get the whole feeling of an like any song in that. I can then the whole playlist, or if I created a mixtape and it was these things are on there, I can remember when I made the mixtape or who gave me the mixtape and where I was when I listened. Like it just all of the memories come back. And if I need to cry, I know which songs I need to pull to.
Okay, you want to know which one takes me out? There's two that take me out.
Uh-huh.
Take me out. When my mom was dying, for years, I knew she loved Vera Lynn, right? Who was a British singer. And Vera Lynn was popular during the Second World War. And she had a song called We'll Meet Again. So I played that for my mom on repeat. And it might sound odd, but I also played the Sound of Music soundtrack. In particular, How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria? Because my mom was Mary and she was a little bit of a troublemaker. So like, she got described quite consistently as a force of nature, which I think is polite for the B word, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I get described as that as well. I'll take that on. What I wonder now, Maddy, is within the context of an early diagnosis of an autistic child, is there a tendency towards not understanding and recommending comfort things, right? Or not appreciating?
There definitely is. There definitely is.
That's where I was kind of heading after we had our therapy.
On. It's like you
or you don't realize what they're doing with.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you that all my kids experience the when they're allowed to experience the things around them that trigger their memories, they can flourish. When they're told, no, like behave, there's not the time for this, and blah blah blah, or it's just minimized. Like it's like it makes life harder for them.
Minimizing that is most. So we're not suggesting that if your comfort thing is wearing your mother's.
It's not an absolutist kind of thing here. Like
you can't do that in the middle of X.
Yeah, there's balance, but
But I think the minimizing does more damage.
Yeah.
And not suggesting to individuals, right? Like not looking for that and going, okay, where do you, because I know grounding and mindfulness can be very divisive within the community because there's some suggestion, which not great, right? But okay, what's your comfort thing?
Yeah. And
without it being a screen, by the way.
You want to, okay, so here's an interesting thing that a certain segment of autistics do this.
Yep.
I am definitely one of those. It's memes and gifts and pebbling those to others. You see,
we talked about pebbling.
But we're bringing it back. We tend to do that. Talk about things we talked about before. It's all about leading people, connective tissues and all that stuff. We tend to share, like, it's not always the strict speaking verbal stuff that tells you what we're feeling. Sometimes the words are the harder parts, but the pictures are easier. Look what kids are drawing. Look what kids are how they're experiencing things in the moment, in relationship to a picture, to a TV, to sounds, because it's there's feelings there, there's connections there, and over time, if that is
ignored,
allowed and nurtured, you're going to actually help them see and be able to communicate better to others what that is. But like honestly, all my kids' music does the same thing that it does to me. It's music is powerful.
That's self-calming,
really, really powerful with autistics. Really powerful.
So my kids grew up here listening to classical. They listened to, and by classical I mean like Mozart and Tchaikovsky and Liszt, not CCR. So
yeah.
And we would drive in the car, and I would
Zamfir.
quiz them on what
Zamfir. The flute.
What is a Zamfir?
Pan
I know that makes me crazy.
Really?
I know
it locks levels 1 through 20. It unlocks it.
No, I don't enjoy the Zamfir.
ABBA, that great classic.
ABBA is just phenomenal. So my daughter's an ABBA freak now, which is fantastic.
Oh my
parents were ABBA freaks.
I laughed so hard inside that I snapped.
What's that?
I said I laughed so hard that my body snapped.
About ABBA?
Yeah.
ABBA's my go-to.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah. So since 1970, whatever, my parents had all the ABBA albums. I now have ABBA albums. My daughter listens to ABBA.
Oh yeah.
Right. So I have to go today. But
oh well.
I know. It happens. Well, I have a 3:00. So part of what this is I think we've gotten away. Maybe what we view comforting things as indulgent or selfish or something. And there's as long as it's not harming anybody.
It's all about moderation and balance. Really.
Yeah.
That's
and
what life,
somewhat appropriateness.
When life gets skewed, like it gets skewed, and sometimes you need more of it than other times.
Absolutely. And and I see that. I pay more attention now to that in myself. And I've been having the same breakfast now for probably 3 months because it's been very stressful, and it's one less thing for me to think about. And there's just comfort in me knowing that I'm going to have the same experience every day.
Yeah.
It meets all of my requirements as far as low sugar, high fiber, yes, I'm actually level 85. So
how very neurodivergent of you.
What to be
same meals. Very, very.
But I don't normally. Normally I'm very averse to having the same thing day in, day out. But this routine.
But you're leveling up every year.
More ways than one. Anyway, that's another story. I think what we're encouraging individuals to recognize is where are the routines and the comforting things that do you no harm. And I recognize that harm is a perspective, but I'm saying nothing illegal, nothing illicit. If you have a particular teddy bear, sweater, whatever, I sniff my husband. That's one of my weird things. Oh yeah, like his weird pheromones right in his collarbone.
It's not a weird thing.
It's the smell, olfactory.
Yeah, exactly. Totally.
He's like a calm bomb. He is a calm bomb. If I'm feeling like Mondo, like not when he's just come home from work, but if he goes away for a few days, which is kind of rare, I'm more the one that goes away than he does. I like huff his shirts and stuff because like fairy soap takes me back to my grandparents' kitchen.
Yeah.
I hate smoking. Hate it. Yeah. But if I somehow sniff the brand that my mom used to smoke, immediately calms me down. Bizarro.
Sometimes my kids get me to sleep with one of their stuffed animals so that they can have my smell with them for a while longer.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. I have a bin of my mom's stuff that nobody's allowed to touch. It's been for my mom, it'll be 5 years in January that I've lost her. I came downstairs one day and somebody had dumped some of my son's shorts in the bin.
Oy.
Lost my ever-loving fucking mind. Like next level, lost it. And I beep. What's that?
I was just beeping you.
Oh yeah, you could beat me all over the place because there was a lot of beepable language in that conversation.
Yeah, basically, there was so much sailor language that they had to bring in a second battleship to keep her in line.
Oh yes, 600%. The battleship was ready, loaded,
Yeah.
because that's my comfort when I'm really missing her. I can go and give her a huff,
Yeah.
and we're good to go. So part of this was funny because we started, and I know why Maddy needs their coffee, and I know why it's important to them. And I know in a bigger picture, it's also a comforting thing. And I think we struggle with accepting that we all need a comfort thing.
Yeah.
And for us to also recognize that that's not going to look the same for other people as it does for us.
Yeah.
And keep your little judgy pants in the closet, because if a 25-year-old person wants to walk around with a little stuffed animal in their bag, bugger off.
Yep.
Leave them alone.
Oh, please. I wish that was understood by the greater majority. Yeah. But so much bullying happens because people don't want to accept difference. And it's like our society would grow and thrive if we could
100%.
just put aside the discomfort of difference.
Yep. So if you're a parent and you find that your kids are gravitating towards something on a regular basis, and that they calm down because of it or after it or whatever, and again, not harming anybody, not illicit, not illegal, and preferably not a video game, because that's got whole other psychological consequences. But if they get comfort out of wearing the same pair of shoes, if they get comfort out of a particular style of sock, if they get comfort from a particular teddy bear, whatever, they get comfort from reading the same book every night, recognize it for what it is. Understand the value of that comfort in handling anxiety and the world and the pressure that comes with the chaos that is existing. And just be okay with that. And if you see somebody who's got 60 million keychains hanging off their purse, one, it's not hurting you, so shut up.
Yeah.
And two, for that person, there could be a memory or an individual or a feeling attached to every one of those.
Yeah.
Just like my glam jewels, just like my rag doll, just like Maddy's bunnies, just like coffee.
Yep.
It isn't about you.
No.
It is about the comfort and the grounding that happens for that individual, and support that and recognize that in our kids so that we can start that. That allows them to self-regulate. That allows them to be more in control of their feelings.
Yeah.
That allows them to know that they have some control in their life, whereas a kid, you don't have a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And encourage that and understand that that's going to change. What brought my son comfort when he was little, not as much anymore. He's got other things that he uses, right? And it's not prevented him from developing great social relationships and getting a job and everything else. It allows him to deal with the pressures of those situations.
Exactly. And, this allows us a path to thriving. And I know when I'm able, like, even though my coffee's gone right now,
It's got in your happy tum-tum.
I can smell the remainders of it. But they help. It helps you in the moment. It helps you through the day. And when you're able to get that bit of regulation in your body, you're going to do better things. You're going to be more aware of things. You're going to enjoy your life more.
I have to.
All right. So thanks for being to our lovely show. You can find us where all the podcasts are.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop on my meeting, and then are you bumming around for the afternoon?
Yeah. I'm available at any point. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ping you in 20. We're going to catch up on what's going on with you, because I kind of jumped Maddy's bones as far as into the podcast.
And on that note, goodbye.
And on that note, okay. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, look for what your comfort is. And as long as, again, not harming anybody, not harming you, guard it. It's yours. It is okay. And it helps you in ways that other people don't need to understand, and it's none of their freaking business. Then, one of my comfort things, folks, is Funko Pops. I enjoy Funko Pops. and action figures and whatever. And people walk into my office and they either go, "Oh, that's so cool," or "That's a little weird." Either way, I don't care, because you're leaving in 5 minutes and my Funko Pops are staying.
If you were going to stick longer, I'd put you on a shelf. I'd make sure that you were a Funko Pop too.
This is what I'm saying. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye now.
Thank you for joining us on Across the Desk and our new series, The Autistic Rambler. Please visit spirocareerscanada.ca to learn more about the tools we're building with the autism community, and please visit theautisticrambler.com to learn more about Maddy Dever.